Okay, so this is the second video for affine functions. In this video we will mainly look at how an affine function is represented graphically. But before we do that, just want to make one other point clear. You see, in a linear function, as we saw in the last chapter, f of x and x are proportional. For example, if I take f of x is equal to 4x, then I can write this table when x is 0, f of x is 0, when x is 1, f of 1 is 4, f of 2 is 8, f of 3 is 12. You're just multiplying by 4. Very simple. So here we get the ratio 4 over 1 is equal to 8 over 2 is equal to 12 over 3. So the top line here is f of x, bottom the denominators are x, and these ratios are constant. So therefore constant meaning they're all equal. So that means f of x and x are proportional. Remember, I didn't take 0 and 0 because when you divide 0 by 0 you get a little bit of a mental strain. Okay, so this is not the case for affine functions. In affine functions, f of x and x are not proportional. We'll take a simple example. We take the same thing, f of x is equal to 4x, but in this case we just do f of x is equal to 4x plus 1. So what do we get for f of 0? F of 0 is 4 into 0 plus 1, so it is 1, 4 into 0 being 0. F of 1 is 4 into 1 plus 1, that is 4 plus 1, 5. Similarly, 2 into 4 plus 1, 9, and 3 into 4 plus 1, 13. Here you see they are not proportional. 5 over 1 is not equal to 9 over 2, is not equal to 13 over 3. So in an affine function, in any affine function, unless it is a special case of a linear function, the output is not proportional to the input. F of x is not proportional to x. Okay, now we will look at how to represent a linear function, an affine function graphically. So, représentation graphique d'une fonction affine. I don't know why I switched to French, but that's how it is. So let's take this function. F of x is equal to 0.5 x plus 2. So here our a is 0.5, our b is 2. So we can draw a table. So I've drawn a fairly extensive table going from -5 to +5, and if you calculate f of x, these are the values you get. You can try it out. F of x when x is equal to 1, f of 1 is 0.5 into 1 plus 2, that gives 2.5. If you take f of x, f of 0, 0 into 0.5 is 0, and plus 2, you get 2 here. Remember, in a linear function you would get 0 below also, but this is an affine function, you get a non-zero number. And similarly, if you take -5, you'll get -5 into 0.5 is -2.5, plus 2, you get -0.5. If you like, you can pause the video and calculate a few of these values right now. For example, -4, 0.5 into -4 gives us -2, plus 2, it gives us 0. Now if we plot these points, we will get the représentation graphique d'une fonction affine. Here we see that f of 0 is not equal to 0, which is only a property of linear functions. F of 0 is not equal to 0. Here also f of 0 wasn't equal to 0. Here f of 0 was equal to 0 because this is a linear function. Okay. So now we draw this, and this is the image, this is the graph. What do we see? We see that the graph, c'est une droite, il passe pas par l'origine 0, 0, this is the origin, It's not passing from there. Unlike a linear function would pass through there. This is not passing through there, because when x is 0, f of x is 2. So it passes through there. Correct? And if we plot the other points, f of 4 is 4, f of 4 is 4, and similarly you plot it, you will get a straight line which looks like this. So the graphic representation of an affine function is a straight line which does not pass through the origin unless it is a linear function. So what do you see here? That it passes through 2. Why does it pass through 2? Because when x is 0, f of x is 2. But this 2 is this value, is b. So actually the line will always pass through point B here on the vertical axis B. If this had been 0.5x plus 3, it would have passed through this 3.3 here. If it had been 0.5x minus 2, it would have passed through this point here. That's very easy, because if you take 0 here, if you put 0 here, the value is whatever is the value of b. So you would have got minus 2 if this had been minus 2 for here. So one very interesting property of the graphic representation of an affine function, that is a straight line that represents an affine function, is it crosses the y-axis at point B, where B is this value. Okay, so let me turn the page. I've done quite a little bit of writing. So let's take a general case. Now this you might need to stop a little, pause and think about what I say, what I show. So we'll take a general case of f of x is equal to ax plus b. I'm not giving you numbers now, but this we've seen is it'll pass through b, because if x is 0, then irrespective of the value of a, this term is 0, and f of x is equal to b. So the line will always pass through this point. So that the coordinates of that point are 0, b, where 0 is the x value and b is the y value. Correct? Secondly, when x is equal to 1, what is f of x equal to? When x is equal to 1, f of x is equal to a into 1 plus b, which is a plus b. Correct? Yes. Because x is equal to 1, so a into 1 plus b gives us a plus b. So when we take 1 here, I spread it out the scale on the x-axis. If I take 1 here, then this point here vertically is a plus b. This is a plus b. We already know this is b and this is a plus b. So if I draw there, this point is a plus b. This height, a plus b. Sorry, I tilted the phone. Okay. So we have, when you take for 0, the line passes through b on the y-axis. For 1, the line passes through this point, which is y value is a plus b. Okay. So what do you see here? So you see that when you had to draw a linear equation of you have to draw the line representing a linear function which essentially went through the origin. You just had to calculate one point, and just from that one point just draw a line going through the origin, and that would it. Here you have to actually calculate 2 points. Either you take this, you read this off the equation and you mark that, and you find out another point, find out the value. Say you found out for 2 what it was, and then you just join these two. It is possible to prove that this equation will give a straight line. Why is a curve a straight line? Why is this graphic representation a straight line? It is possible to prove that, but at the moment we don't have enough knowledge to prove that. You require some trigonometry, and for trigonometry you require one very important theorem, which is called in French Théorème de Thalès de proportionnalité. That is there in this book, I hope that we would be able to cover it. Maybe we'll see by the end of the month, because that is the next thing that we have to learn from this book. I hope we can do it. There are actually 2 more chapters in this book that I would have loved to cover. That is one of them, the Thales theorem, the Thales de proportionnalité, and the chapter on trigonometry. In fact, let's find out which chapters they are here. Yes, this is chapter 11, Utiliser le théorème de Thales. It is actually, Thales is like many of these great mathematicians, was a Greek mathematician, and he has many theorems, but this is the theorem, the Thales de proportionnalité. The book doesn't say the proportionality, but they should have said that. This is chapter 11, and if we have time we will start on this. So this chapter I would have liked to have finished, and then this chapter 14. This also I would have liked. So if we were able to finish chapters 11 and 14, I would have been happy. That all the other chapters are not that important, that we haven't done. Then I would have been very happy that we have done the whole year's course in this restricted situation of the virus and the lockdown of the school. Okay. So, here just a few terms. A est le coefficient directeur. Remember that we already knew from linear function linéaire, we call it coefficient directeur. A, and in English, obviously much simpler, it's called slope. Why do I say obviously? Because in my experience, in English the terms are simpler than in French, equivalent French terms. Okay, B is l'ordonnée à l'origine. What it means is the coordinates of this point at the origin. Origin meaning the value of y when x is equal to 0. In English, it's just known as intercept. Okay, so A and B, these are the terms, and I'm sure these terms will be asked for you when you do the problems. So please remember this, or please note down this. Okay. So what happens if A is greater than 0? The line slopes upward. This is the way. If A is greater than 0, line slopes upward, because as x increases, the value of this also increases, and if you take 1x plus b, if you take 2x plus b, obviously the value is greater if A is positive. If A is negative, the line slopes downward. If A is less than 0, the line slopes downward. We also saw this for linear functions. Now, of course, this line sloping downwards could also have gone like that. It doesn't have to go above the x-axis here. It can go anywhere, but it is sloping downwards, or sloping like this. Oops, not very straight, but that's the way. Yeah, shouldn't have drawn that. Okay, if A is equal to 0, then we get a very special case where for all values of x, you just get B, because if A is equal to 0, then this equation becomes, what does this equation become? F of x is equal to 0 into x, which is 0, so it only leaves you f of x is equal to b. So irrespective of the value of x, the value of f of x is b, and you'll get this graph where this is the x-axis and this is the graph representing this function f of x is equal to b. This is known as a function constante. Remember, we had done this. Now in the book, if you look in the book on page 116, where you have J'apprends le cours, we did this, the definition of fonction affine. This is représentation graphique d'une fonction affine. This is what I have done. So in case you don't want to re-watch the video, if you have problems with any of the concepts or any of the terms, you can always come back to this page and consult it here. You see, this is nombre A est le coefficient directeur de la droite D. The nombre est l'ordonnée à l'origine de la droite D. Okay, so remember, in English, the first term is slope, the second term is intercept. And here they show that if a is greater than 0, positive, then the line slopes upward. If a is equal to 0, then the line is horizontal, it's constant. And if a is less than 0, then the line slopes downward. Okay. Now we will look at a few other properties of affine functions, and this has to do with parallel lines. So let's take two functions. One is a linear function, f of x is equal to a into x, okay, where a is any number. There we go. Now we have it in focus, almost. And g of x, which I have written in red, is equal to a of x plus b, where a is the same a. Same a that used f of x. So if f of x was 2x, then g of x is 2x plus b, where b is a constant number, a given number. So if we draw the f of x is equal to ax, if we draw the line representing that, then we know it's a linear function. It passes through the origin and it goes up like this. When the x value is 1, then the y value is a. When x is 1, then f of x is a. This we have seen many times before. And similarly, we do the g of x is equal to ax plus b. So it passes through b here, correct? I have drawn it in red because this is the intercept. What is it in French? Ordonnée à l'origine, because when x is equal to 0, then g of x is equal to b, that is this point. And when a is equal to 1, this point is equal to a, so the whole thing is equal to a plus b. So these two lines are parallel. It's easy to show that, easy to prove that if we knew a little bit more of the maths than we do now. But for the moment, you just assume that these two lines are parallel. So if we have g of x, if you have a is the same in different functions, different affine functions, will give you different parallel lines. So we could even do it like this. Here I have used a third color in black. So if I say f of x is equal to x, then we'll get a line 45 degrees, the blue line. If I say g of x is equal to x plus 2, then we'll get this line, the red line. It goes through point 2 here on the x-axis, on the y-axis, because when x is 0, g of x is equal to 2. And here we have h of x is equal to x minus 3. Again, this is an affine function. So when x is 0, h of x is equal to minus 3. There we go, minus 3. And these three lines are parallel because the values of a in all these three equations are the same. What is the value of a in all of these three equations? That you submit to me as an answer. This is the first question I'm asking in this video. You submit that to me so that I know that you watched the video. Obviously it is so simple. What is the a value here in all these three functions, in this linear function, in this affine function, in this affine function? The a value is the same. What is the a value? Okay. Now let's come to, remember I told you right at the beginning that the affine function is a very useful function. So it is useful because of two reasons. One is, if you have a situation where like we saw before in many problems, we saw that you want to go and see movies, you have to pay an yearly fee for a pass, which is say 20 rupees, and then for each movie you have to pay 10 rupees each time you go to see. So this cannot be represented by a linear function, but it can be represented by an affine function. You would say, okay, let me write it down. You would say here, where shall I write it? Let me write it here. You would say cost is equal to 10 into x plus 20. So this is, you can see, this is a affine function where x, this is my a and this is my b. So here is the total cost of going to movies in the year. 20 rupees is the annual pass I have to buy, that I have to buy whether I see one movie or 100 movies. I have to buy this irrespective of the regardless of the number of movies I will watch, and each time I watch a movie I have to pay 10 rupees. I chose rather unrealistic values. Nowadays movie tickets are much more. So this can be represented by, this is an affine function, and this whole cost of seeing movies can be represented by an affine function. So an affine function is very useful for describing situations where there is a fixed component, that is the b, and there is a variable component that varies in the number of whatever you want to do. Watch a movie, I don't know, buy a hamburger or something like that. Okay, so now the other interesting point is that any line can be represented by a corresponding affine function. That means if you draw a line in a system of coordinates like this, where this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, I draw any line, that line can be represented, can be written as a corresponding affine function. And even though we will not be able to use it at the moment in our work, in our study, it is a very useful feature, and you can do a lot of actually algebraic calculations using geometry of lines. It is something called descriptive geometry. So in other words, every line can be represented by an equation like this: y is equal to ax plus b. Why did I write y here? Because normally we call this vertical axis the y. So instead of writing f of x, I am writing y is equal to ax plus b. Okay, so now, so the only exception is a vertical line like this. If this is my coordinate system, where this is my 0, then if I have a line like this, this cannot be represented by a function, strictly speaking, because this antecedent has many images. Yeah? If this was say value 1, then what is the value of f of x? It is this, 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 it is this. So this is a line that cannot be represented by any function, because by definition a function can only have one image for each antecedent, and for this antecedent it has an infinite number of image, up both positive, both, and as well as negative, going down. So this cannot be represented. This line cannot represent a function. So in the reciprocal of that statement is that if you have a vertical line, you cannot use a function to describe it. Okay, this has been a rather long video. We are almost up to 24 minutes. I asked you one question, a very simple question, again just to prove to me that you have watched the video. Please send me that response by you have to write a is equal to and the number, and that is all you have to send to me. You can send it to me without even taking a photo. Please do so, and that is all you have to do today, and tomorrow we will start doing some more problems. Okay, I am stopping here now.